You are being lied to by people wearing $10,000 suits who have never actually been broke a day in their lives. They tell you that investing is this mystical, complex ritual that only PhDs can understand, but they are just trying to gatekeep the exit. I am 27 years old, and my net worth is exactly $124,560. I did not get that number by being a genius or by catching a lucky break with some dog-themed meme coin. I got there by being more disciplined and more boring than anyone else in the room. While my friends were out buying Teslas and posting their Tulum vacations on Instagram, I was driving a 2006 sedan that smelled like old French fries and rattled every time I hit 60 miles per h. I lived in a literal empty apartment for a year with no sofa and no television because I calculated the opportunity cost of every single dollar I spent. I realized that a $500 sofa today is actually a $5,000 mistake for my future self. Most people will never hit six figures because they are too busy trying to look rich, while their bank accounts are actually starving for oxygen. Let us go back to 2020 when I graduated right into a global shutdown with a degree that felt useless and a bank account that was basically around zero. I remember sitting on the floor of my apartment, eating generic brand noodles, and staring at a compound interest calculator for hours. That was the moment the switch flipped in my head. I decided that I would rather be a millionaire in my 30s than have a nice car in my 20s. So I started shoving every spare cent into the market, even when everyone else was screaming that the world was ending and the sky was falling. I did not listen to the doom scrollers on the news, and I did not listen to my broke friends who told me the stock market was a casino. I understood one simple truth, which is that the market is a machine that transfers wealth from the impatient to the patient. My strategy was simple, and I have stuck to it every single month since that day. I put 60% of my portfolio into VO, which is the Vanguard SP 500 ETF. It is the most boring investment on the planet, and that is exactly why I love it. When you buy VO, you own a piece of Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and 497 other companies that are obsessed with making money. I do not have to guess which company will win because I own the entire stadium. Then I put 20% into VUG for growth because I want to capture that aggressive tech upside while I am still young and have time on my side. The last 20% goes into SHD because I love seeing those dividends hit my account while I sleep. It is not about the income right now. It is about the fact that those dividends buy more shares, which buy more dividends, creating a snowball effect that eventually becomes unstoppable. I see people all the time trying to time the market, waiting for a crash or a dip before they put their money in. That is a loser-esque game. I have invested every single bi-weekly paycheck, regardless of whether the market was at an all-time high or an all-time low. Time in the market beats timing the market every single time, and if you think you are smarter than the math, you are going to get crushed. I remember one month in 2022 when my portfolio dropped by about $15,000 in a single week. My heart was racing and I felt like I was losing everything I had worked so hard for, but I didn't sell a single share. Instead, I worked an extra 10 hours of overtime and bought more. That is the difference between an investor and a gambler. A gambler panics when the price drops, but an investor realizes that the world's best assets are finally on sale. If you are 22 or 25 or 30 and you are still worried about what people think of your shoes or your phone, you have already lost the game. Real wealth is invisible. It is the freedom to wake up and realize that you don't owe anyone a single minute of your time. I am halfway to my goal of complete financial independence, and I am not slowing down for anyone. I don't buy things to impress people. I don't even like. I buy assets that pay for my life so I never have to answer to a boss again. The reason you are stressed about money isn't because you don't make enough, it is because you don't keep enough. Stop being a consumer and start being an owner. Every time you buy a coffee or a subscription you don't use, you are just funding someone else's retirement. While delaying your own, it sounds harsh because it is supposed to be. The world doesn't care about your excuses or your feelings, it only cares about your results. I hit $124,560 because I treated my finances like a war zone. I tracked every penny, I cut every unnecessary cost, and I kept my head down while everyone else was distracted. If you want the life that the 1% has, you have to be willing to do what the 99% 1T do. That means driving the old car, living in the small apartment, and staying away from the mall. It means learning the difference between a need and a want. You need food, you want a steak, you need transportation, you want a luxury SUV. The gap between those two things is where your wealth is currently dying. I am telling you this because I want you to win, not because I want to hear myself talk. I hate seeing people get scammed by high-fee mutual funds or get-rich-quick courses that promise the world and deliver nothing. The path to $1 million is boring, it is slow, and it is repetitive. It is the same index funds, the same savings rate, and the same discipline year after year. If you can handle being bored, you can handle being rich. I want you to look at your bank account today and be honest with yourself. Are you building a fortress or are you just digging a hole? If you are in a hole, stop digging, sell the expensive car, cancel the subscriptions, and start buying your freedom back one share at a time. The best time to start was 10 years ago, but the second best time is right now. I am going to keep sharing my exact numbers and my exact moves because I have nothing to hide. I am not a professor. I am just a guy who decided to stop being a victim of the system next week. I am going to show you exactly how I am pivoting my portfolio to handle the current inflation spikes. There are specific sectors that are going to get hit hard and you need to be ready to move. If you want to stay updated and see the real-time progress of this $124,560 portfolio, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button and join the community of people who actually give a damn about their future. Don't let another year go by where you are just treading water. Make the choice to be different. Be the person that your future self will thank. I didn't buy that sofa and I didn't buy that new car, but I bought my peace of mind, and that is worth more than any luxury item on the planet. Every dollar I put into VO is a soldier working for me while I sleep. I have an army of thousands of soldiers now, and they are growing every single day. When the market crashes, my soldiers go on a recruiting mission and bring back more shares. This is the game of wealth, and most of you are just NPCs in someone else. Wake up and start playing for yourself. You don't need a massive salary to get started. I started with $50, just $50, but I stayed consistent and I never missed a month. That $50 turned into $500, then $5,000. Then 50,000. The math doesn't lie, and it doesn't care about your background. It only cares about the numbers you put in. I see kids graduating today who are already planning their first big purchase before they even have their first paycheck. They are already thinking about the credit card they can get and the lifestyle they can lease. They are walking straight into the trap, and they are doing it with a smile on their faces. Be that person, be the outlier, be the one who stays in the shadows and builds a massive pile of cash while everyone else is out chasing clout. I promise you that the feeling of having $100,000 in the bank is 1,000 times better than the feeling of wearing a fancy watch. The watch tells you the time, but the money tells you what to do with your time. That is the ultimate flex. I am 27 and I am just getting started. By the time I am 35, I want to be done with work forever. Not because I hate working, but because I want to work on my own terms. That is what financial freedom actually looks like. It is not about private jets and gold chains. It is about having options. It is about being able to say no to a toxic boss or a bad deal without worrying about how you will pay rent. I achieved this by being ruthless with my budget and obsessed with my compounding. I used to check my brokerage account 10 times a day just to see the numbers move. Now I check it once a week, and I spend the rest of my time finding ways to earn more. The more you earn and the less you spend, the faster that snowball grows. It is not rocket science, it is just basic arithmetic that most people are too distracted to follow. Stop watching the influencers who are trying to sell you a dream and start watching the people who are living the reality. The reality is that building wealth is hard work, and it requires you to be a little bit of a weirdo. You have to be the person who says no to the happy hour and the guy who buys his clothes from the discount rack. But while you are doing that, your net worth is screaming past everyone around you. I am proud of my $124,560 because every single cent of it represents a choice I made, a choice to prioritize my future over my present. A choice to be free instead of being fancy. I want you to make that same choice today. Start small if you have to, but for the love of everything, just open that brokerage account, set up the recurring transfer, and let the market do its job. Stop overthinking it and stop making excuses. You have the same 24 hours in a day as everyone else. What you do with those hours and what you do with your money will determine the rest of your life. I am here to show you that it is possible for a regular person to win. You don't need to be an insider, and you don't need to have a degree from Harvard. You just need to have a plan and the guts to stick to it when things get boring. I'll see you in the next video where we dive deep into the tax advantages of different retirement accounts. It might sound dry, but it is the difference between keeping your money and giving half of it to the government. Stay disciplined, stay focused, and keep that net worth moving in the right direction. I'll see you in the trenches. Peace. Seriously. If you are still here and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Do you want to keep getting your financial advice from people who are living paycheck to paycheck? Or do you want to follow the guy who actually has the numbers to prove his strategy works? The choice is obvious. Hit the button and let S get to work. The market is open and there are shares with your name on them. Go get them. I am going to go check on my soldiers now. I'll see you guys soon. Stay hard, stay hungry, and stop buying stupid stuff. Okay, now I am really done. See ya.